Black men on the opposite end of the spectrum, quite honestly. I don't think Black men are looking for a wife, someone to go ahead and marry in college. Whereas when I look at my white counterparts who are in college, many times by the time they're graduating, they've got a ring on their finger and they're engaged. They're married in their early 20s, but Black men, that's never been the case.
So I'm not with nobody, cause I don't wanna hurt nobody. Did it over text, didn't call me. Still got love for your mommy. I know you wanna be somebody, even if you gotta leave somebody.
So what we're gonna do here, I'm gonna play a video, and it's gonna play into the statistical chart that I just showed you. This is pretty cool. So again, I was watching this show, and once again, Black men caught strays. So without further ado, let's play this video from, I believe this is the Lapeef Experience. Here we go.
And in particular, when they're in college, I think they're looking for a wife. And Black men on the opposite end of the spectrum, quite honestly. I don't think Black men are looking for a wife, someone to go ahead and marry in college. Whereas when I look at my white counterparts who are in college, many times by the time they're graduating, they've got a ring on their finger and they're engaged. They're married in their early 20s, 21, 22. And, obviously it's become a little bit later sometimes as of now, but Black men, that's never been the case.
Wow. It's never been the case for Black men to get married in college. Let's play that one more time just in case you guys didn't hear it.
I think white men in particular, when they're in college, I think they're looking for a wife. And Black men on the opposite end of the spectrum, quite honestly. I don't think Black men are looking for a wife, someone to go ahead and marry in college. Whereas when I look at my white counterparts who are in college, many times by the time they're graduating, they've got a ring on their finger and they're engaged. They're married in their early 20s, 21, 22. And, obviously it's become a little bit later sometimes as of now, but Black men, that's never been the case.
Oh, wow. For us, it's never been the case for us to get married. So what she's saying is white men tend to get married in college. And she said that Black men, we never get married in college, right? So in the chat, what do you guys think is a typical college age? From what to what do people typically go to college? Let me pull up this picture real quick. So yeah, we all on the same page. I see some 17s, 18s, 19s, very young. So let's go ahead and pull this up real quick. All right. So what I did was I went to statista.com, which is where you get all your statistics from. It was very simple. Estimated median age of Americans at their first wedding in the United States from 2021 by race and origin. Of course, Black men lead. We're at 33%. Who's number two to get married the latest? Black women, age 32. That's when Black women typically get married, their first wedding. Now, where are white men? She said that white men tend to get married in college. College age range is 18 to 24. That's 6 years. So graduate school, she said that white men get married in college. However, that is not true. White men tend to get married at age 30, which is 6 years away from your college years. So very simple. And that's the reason why I did the statistics, because you can look this up. Google does the work for you. You don't need me to break these statistics down. However, I did it for the people. So let me show you what we're looking at here. Based off of what we just learned in regards to what I taught you about basic statistics. Let me bring this down. I pulled the numbers from what you guys just saw, and I actually organized them. Remember, like I said, organization, very simple. I organized the numbers. So estimated median age of Americans at their first wedding in the United States from 2021 by race and origin. So if you look here, I put Black men at number one. Yes, we get married later in life. But Black women get married at age 32. Right here, you see white men right here. This arrow represents the gap. Remember, I talked about the statistical gap. So 33, white men, 30. So there is a 3-year statistical gap between black men and white men in regards to when we get married. However, we already debunked her first point of saying that white men tend to get married when they're in college, which we know now is false. So black men and white men have a statistical gap of 3 years. White men tend to get married at age 30. Black women lead all women in regards to 32. And black women lead in regards to all men, which is rare, which is why we have a statistical gap. So if you look here, black women tend to get married at age 32. White women tend to get married at age 27.9. Very simple. You see that? Now, there is a 4.1 year statistical gap between black women and white women. So, with that information that you guys see, you see these numbers, you see the arrow that represents the statistical gap. So, black men, we're closer to white men than black women are closer to white women. And as I stated before, it is very rare for a female group to be number 2 in regards to when they get married, because women tend to get married at a younger age than most men. But if you guys look here, like I said, black women are number 2, right behind us. So here, American Indian and Alaskan Native, right? That is the first set of women that are behind men. Age 29 is when American Indian and Alaskan Native tend to get married. That is the first woman's group. Let me pull this up so y'all can see I'm not just talking. So right there, that's where women start. Every other race of women are behind the men when we get married, except black women. And you guys, like I said, we have our hypothesis, theories, and anything like that you guys can come up with as to why black women tend to get married at a later age than any other race of women. It could be black women just don't want to get married. Or it could be that black women prioritize education. Black women have kids when they're in college. The majority of the college female population who have kids, black women lead in that. I already broke down the education. Black women are more likely to be student parents. According to the Institute for Women's Policy Research, 40% of black women in college are parents. 40%, a higher proportion of any other group. The added cost of raising a child, the high cost of childcare, and the financial insecurity faced by many student parents can lead them to borrow more for college. Student parents borrow more than non-parents, and mothers, particularly single mothers, borrow the most. Black student parents borrow more than any other racial group, and black women lead in that aspect at the tune of 40%. So that could hinder black women from getting married at a younger age. So there's a bunch of theories out there that we can go ahead and test, or we can view to see why black women aren't getting married at a younger age, as opposed to other races of women getting married at a younger age. But the overarching point for me to break this down was to debunk her false narrative by saying that white men get married in college, when that's actually not true. White men tend to get married at age 30 on average. Black men tend to get married at age 33. Black women, 32. White women, 27.9. Age 27.9. So that's that statistical gap. 32, 27.9 comes out to 4.1 year statistical gap between black women and white women. There's a 3-year statistical gap between black men and white men. So that was just me summarizing the point. Very simple. So I wanted to break that down and use her as an example. And this is the problem that we have in these spaces. People are so invested in trying to demonize black men, even if they're sweet and they're trying to be as calm. Well, I've heard that black men, we don't get married until blah, blah, blah. And it's all foolery.